Hey, welcome to Sports Talk 60. On today's show, we're going to take you down to Ford Field. That's right, the Lions 2012 season is just around the corner, and we're going to take you out to preseason. Also, we're going to start the history of boxing here in Detroit, and I have two media giants, Frank Garza and Dennis Davidson from the Detroit Sports Broadcasters Association, and they're going to start the little teaser for you, and we're also going to promote a big boxing event happening on August 25th. So stay tuned for Sports Talk 60.
Kronk Boxing, the new generation, featuring middleweight sensation Tony Harrison, 9-0 with 8 KOs, returns to where it began, Joe Louis Arena. Hall of Fame trainer Emmanuel Stewart did it once, and now he's doing it again, with a new cast of champions in the making and a hard-hitting 8-bout card. Tickets start at just $20 for Kronk Fight Night back in Detroit, August 25th at Joe Louis Arena. Tickets at OlympiaEntertainment.com, the box office, Ticketmaster, or simply call 800-745-3000.
Boxing is back in Detroit, folks. That's right, Saturday, August 25th at the Joe, boxing is back in Detroit. Now we're going to throw you out to Dennis Davidson and Frank Garza. These guys know it all. Dennis is a Detroit Sports Broadcaster Association member. Frank is also, but he's also internationally known for refereeing some of the biggest bouts in boxing. So we're going to take you out to Dennis and Frank.
Hi, I'm Dennis Davidson, and when I'm not doing my normal job as intrepid sports reporter for Sports Talk 60, I'm the event coordinator and media coordinator for Kronk Boxing, and we work with Olympia Entertainment. We've got a big event coming up at Joe Louis Arena. One of the participants in the event is my partner here, Frank Garza. He's an internationally known referee. He'll be the third man in the ring for the main event. Frank, let's talk a little bit about this card that's coming up at Joe Louis Arena on the 25th of August.
I'm really looking forward to it, Dennis. It's been a while since we've had some professional boxing in Detroit. And as you know, we have a long storied history in the city of Detroit with boxing, so it's good to get the boxing back at Joe Louis Arena on August 25th.
It's going to be a big night. We're expecting a pretty good crowd. The main event is going to be a fellow by the name of Tony Harrison, who is from Detroit, 9-0 with 8 KOs. His lone non-KO decision just came a few weeks ago when he fought a gentleman by the name of Calvin Odom, and they fought that out in California, the casino.
That's right. That took place at the Pechanga Casino Resort out there in California. And from my reports that I received, Tony Harrison was unable, like you said, to knock out Calvin Odom, and in fact kind of had a little bit of a hard time with him. So since he ended his knockout streak, Tony had said that he wants him back and he wants to rectify that non-knockout that he has on his record. So it should be a good fight. And Odom says that he's not coming in to lose, he's coming in to knock out Harrison's.
Yeah, that seems to be a good theme. I remember a boxer telling me one time, he said, I didn't come here to lose. So Calvin's coming all the way from California, and one of the things about it is, and I saw the fight, is that for whatever reason, Tony had a problem getting off with his right, and Odom had him confused. Even though Tony won it unanimously, I think this is going to be a whole different thing because now they know one another, and now they know how to defend one another. And Odom is a seasoned fighter. He's been around for a long time. He's had 27 professional fights, and he's KO'd 11 people. So
that's correct. And the other thing, Dennis, that's going to make a difference is that Harrison is now going to be fighting on his home turf. It's a big challenge for guys not only to go out on someone else's turf, but then to come back home and try to look good on your home turf. That's a hard task for Harrison.
It's a lot of pressure on a young man to do something like that. It's like maybe a baseball pitcher pitching for Baltimore and coming in, and he's from Detroit. Now he's got to go out on the mound in a strange situation and go through all that. So I think it's going to be a pretty good bout, but we got some other bouts coming up on the card. Tell us a little bit about William McElroy.
You know, I saw William McElroy in Toledo a few months ago, and I was very impressed with his demeanor in the ring. He's very cool, calculating, didn't waste any punches, has a good right hand, and I was very impressed. I think that he's going to be a rising star here in the new Kronk generation.
Another fellow coming on is Leandro White. He's 2-0. He made his debut a couple months ago, and he's from Detroit. A little bit about Blue White.
Well, let me tell you, Leander can punch, and
he's a showboat.
He's a showboat. He's fast. He's flashy. He's really a pleasure to watch inside the ring. So this is going to be a real treat for the fans.
Wade Toll Jr., out of Monroe. You got to love this kid.
This kid is 4-0, 4 knockouts.
5-0, 4 knockouts.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. My mistake. This kid can punch. There's not an ounce of fat on him. I mean, when he comes in, the girls are, you know, you always hear about the girls. They'll love this guy when he comes into the ring, and he can really hit, Dennis.
Really a nice-looking kid, and you're right about the girls. They'll love him. Okay, we've got a few other fights. Anthony Barnes making his debut. He's out of Huntington Woods. Anthony Gallerani, also from Livonia, he's making his debut on this card. But Manuel brought in this kid from Romania that's out of California right now. Now, let's see if we can get his name right. Răzvan Koianu. Is that right? Is that close?
That's close enough. But you know what? Emmanuel has a long history with these big heavyweights, from Lennox Lewis to the Klitschkos. And I think Emmanuel said it best. These guys can punch, but what they lack and what he brings to the table at the Kronk Gym is he teaches them balance and he teaches them how to move in the ring. And to see these guys now, Răzvan is 6'7", and I think close to 250 pounds. Is that correct?
I believe it is 250, 260. Yeah.
And very nice gentleman. But during the interview, we asked him what his game plan was, and he was very blunt. Just get in there and knock the guy out.
Yeah, I want to fight. And his hero is Vladimir Klitschko. In fact, he looks a little bit like Vladimir. He's about the same size, and that's who he emanates.
And I don't want to cut Vladimir short. He has a fight coming up here in December. He'll be defending his world title in Russia. But Emmanuel went out on a limb and said that Răzvan could be the heir apparent to Vladimir Klitschko's world title in the near future.
And I don't know if I want to go out on a limb with Răzvan, because at 260 pounds, that will break that branch, I'm afraid. But anyway, so that's our card. It's going to be coming up on August the 25th at Joe Louis Arena. It's going to be a great night. We're going to have a little meet and greet. We're going to have a lot of celebrities down there. Tickets will be $20 for general admission, and you can get them through Ticketmaster, which will be at any Walmart store. Also, Kroger's has them. And, of course, you can buy them at the box office, the Fox Theater, and at Joe Louis Arena. $35 for reserve, and then if you want to come to our big celebrity party, which you will be there even before you go in the ring. Will you have your little...
I'll have my outfit on.
Have his little referee suit on. I'll have my little tuxedo on. And we'll have several of the celebrities that night. We're pretty sure we'll probably have some of the former champions that Emanuel Stewart had at Kronk. Caveman Lee, a fellow by the name of Tommy Hearns. You remember him.
I think I remember Tommy,
somewhere along the line, Helmer Kenty and people like that. That's $100 for the VIP ticket, which is pretty cheap because you get to go into the Olympia Room, meet all these stars coming in, and we got some surprises coming in too. So it's $100 VIP ringside.
And what a way to end the summer, Dennis. You know, Joe Louis Arena, we've got the history. We're bringing the history back, and it's good to be back at Joe Louis Arena, and I can't think of a better way to end the summer.
Be there.
With the 2012 Detroit Lion football season on tap, this week's trivia question is dedicated to Detroit Lions. How many numbers have been retired in Detroit Lions football history? The answer at the end of Sports Talk 60.
It's fun to watch a funny show when you're at home or on the go. It's fun to catch up on the twists they're talking about. It's fun to watch new movies right away. They're on demand, not on delay. If you're through with satellite, come on and shout. It's fun for you. It's fun for me. Come on, everybody, to Xfinity. Come on, everybody, to Xfinity.
Kronk Boxing, the new generation, featuring middleweight sensation Tony Harrison, 9-0 with 8 KOs, returns to where it began, Joe Louis Arena. Hall of Fame trainer Emanuel Stewart did it once, and now he's doing it again, with a new cast of champions in the making and a hard-hitting eat-bout card. Tickets start at just $20 for Kronk Fight Night back in Detroit, August 25th at Joe Louis Arena. Tickets at OlympiaEntertainment.com, the box office, Ticketmaster, or simply call 800-745-3000.
With the college football season just around the corner, Saturday, August 25th, Sports Talk 60 is going to be in Livonia at Neighborhood Alumni. They have the best collegiate sportswear from all your favorite college teams like Wayne State, Eastern, Michigan State, Michigan, and Central Michigan University. We're going to be there from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. filming a Sports Talk 60 show. That's located on Middlebelt Road, just south of 7 Mile. Neighborhood Alumni, come on down and have some fun with Sports Talk 60.
We're going to step into our Wayback Machine and talk a little bit about the history of boxing in Detroit. Now, you just told me when the very first fight was. When was that, Frank?
Well, if you go back to Detroit where the Detroit River and the River Rouge merged together,
Yeah.
there's a little garden there.
Yeah.
And a fight broke out there. A kid by the name of Cain fought another kid by the name of Abel. And that was the first match that happened in the Detroit area.
Is that right? I didn't know that. My grandmother built a bar on that same spot a little bit later on. All right, let's go back to probably Olympia Stadium was built, I think, what, 1927?
Somewhere there, but you know, boxing started way before the Olympia Stadium. We had the Detroit Athletic Club, and they sponsored a guy by the name of Tommy Burns, who is one of the most renowned middleweight champions, and then he went on to become the heavyweight champion. In fact, he lost his world title to Jack Johnson.
Okay.
So there's a lot of history in Detroit, Dennis.
Yeah. Then they built Olympia Stadium, and of course they built that for hockey, and we all know the history of that, starting off with the Detroit Cougars and eventually becoming the Detroit Red Wings and Stanley Cup champions. But back in that time, boxing and hockey become synonymous because that was the big promotion. What do you do with these arenas, Madison Square Garden, Chicago Stadium, and these arenas when there's no hockey? You're going to have to do something. Well, you know, wrestling came in right about then. What was the big wrestler's name?
Oh, we had Dick the Bruiser.
Well, no, but before then, back in the 30s, was it Landis or somebody like that? That was, but anyway, the boxing came in, and it became a big hit at the Olympia because the Norris family owned Madison Square Garden, Olympia Stadium, and the Chicago Stadium. So they decided they were going to get the boxing in there. So what are some of the big matches? Now, Joe Louis fought at Olympia Stadium.
Well, you know, when they did the fights at the hockey arenas, that's where the term, and it was a big thing, if you ever heard the term rubber match.
Yeah.
They would have a fight in the one guy's hometown, and then they would take it to the other guy's hometown, and then they would have the rubber match, which would be for a world title or a big money match, and they would take that to neutral grounds. And one fight that comes to mind is Hammer and Henry Hank from Detroit against Joey Giardello, I believe from the East Coast. And Joey won in his hometown. The people in Detroit thought that Henry got the short end of the stick, so we brought it back to Detroit, and Henry won, and then they take it over to neutral ground. And that made good TV back then.
Very good TV. Yeah, Joey Giardello. I remember him well. They fought a lot on the Wednesday night and Friday night fights. Now, Joe Louis fought there. Also, we were talking before, Jake LaMotta fought a lot of fights at Olympia Stadium.
And
The Raging Bull.
The Raging Bull, they made a movie about that. And not only did he fight at Olympia Auditorium, but he also won his world title when he fought Marcel Cerdan at Tiger Stadium. And at that time, it was known as Briggs Stadium.
Right.
And one of the guys that's synonymous with Jake LaMotta, as you know, is Sugar Ray Robinson.
Right.
One of the greatest, if not the greatest boxer of all time. And you know his first loss took place in Detroit? Sugar Ray Robinson's first professional loss happened in Detroit.
Was that right?
That's right.
Well, wasn't he actually billed as being from Detroit at one time?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, Sugar Ray Robinson. Was
Right.
his name was Ray Walker? Or?
His last name was Walker. You're right on that, Dennis.
Hey, I get to be right once. How about that?
And we've had all kinds of boxers come into town. We had Larry Holmes,
Oh, yeah.
Leon Spinks. We had Mike Tyson, Andrew Galata, Iran Barkley, James Kitchen, Mustafa,
So Muhammad
Eddie Mustafa.
Eddie Mustafa, yeah.
That's his name. He fought Willie Edwards on a fight card with Tommy Hearns at Joe Louis Arena back in the 70s. And I believe Wilfred Benitez was on that undercard
At
too.
Olympia.
No, this was at Joe Louis Arena.
Joe Louis would be in the 80s, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Now, we're going to probably get into this when we get Emmanuel on. We're going to start talking about November 25th, 1977. Really a date in Detroit sports history that it will live in infamy, because that was when boxing made the big comeback after that golden age, and then all of a sudden it died down, and all you had was some heavyweights named Muhammad Ali and people like that. And then Emmanuel brought these young kids, the Knockout Twins, Tommy Hearns and Mickey Goodwin.
Mickey Goodwin.
Good friend of ours.
Very good friend of ours. And, you know, that happened, if I'm correct, right after the Olympics. We had that big Olympics where all those American boxers won the gold and silver medals. Is that correct?
that was in 76 and 77, because Tommy didn't fight in the Olympics. But I remember Sugar Ray Leonard coming to town for Tommy's first bout.
We had the Olympic box-offs
Right.
at Cobo Arena
Yep.
for that, and Ray Leonard, if I'm correct, won his berth on the Olympic
Yep.
team there in Detroit.
And he came in for Tommy's first fight. He hadn't had his first fight yet, because I remember him standing out in the hallway, and I was talking to him because I recognized him. And Emmanuel brought him in just to watch Tommy fight. And I think maybe Emmanuel might have wanted to have a little something to do with Sugar Ray, but it didn't work out that way.
Well, I heard that both Tommy and Sugar Ray Leonard knew each other very well in the ring way before they had those 3 epic battles out in Las Vegas.
And they were epic. But that's a subject for a different program.
But the thing, Dennis, is that it all started at Detroit.
Yeah.
And it goes with the boxing card that we're going to have on August 25th at Joe Louis Arena. We've got that new Kronk generation coming in, and this is a good opportunity, a great opportunity for people to see these guys just as they're making their pro debut, or they're just getting started, getting into the 8 and 10 round fights before they get into the championship fights. And I think we've got a couple guys on this card who are going to have a good chance of going for the world title.
Well, Emmanuel coined the phrase "the new generation" because that's exactly what he wants. He envisions Olympia Stadium all over again, November 25th, 1977, August 25th, 2012. The new generation, Kronk Boxing. Be there.
In case you've been wondering where we've been all this time, well, now you know. Meet Bill Jr.
Well, we emailed out pictures a while back, but you know DSL. Good things come to those who wait. Which is why we feel Xfinity is too fast for us.
You can say that again.
Which is why we feel Xfinity is too fast for us.
I didn't mean literally say it again.
Go way faster than DSL with Xfinity Internet, only from Comcast.
Kronk Boxing, the new generation, featuring middleweight sensation Tony Harrison, 9-0 with 8 KOs, returns to where it began, Joe Louis Arena. Hall of Fame trainer Emanuel Stewart did it once, and now he's doing it again, with a new cast of champions in the making and a hard-hitting 8-bout card. Tickets start at just $20 for Kronk Fight Night back in Detroit, August 25th at Joe Louis Arena. Tickets at OlympiaEntertainment.com, the box office, Ticketmaster, or simply call 800-745-3000.
Uverse, what are you doing?
Getting you guys a better TV.
We have a great TV. You're the problem.
Me? You're the one that should have gotten Xfinity from Comcast.
I know.
They have better HD picture quality and way more HD choices.
Wait a second. Is that Grandpa's TV?
If your grandpa's mustache party 54, then yes, it is. You owe him $200.
Uverse's old phone wires can't handle what Xfinity can. Visit Xfinity Can to learn more.
As you can see, the fans are coming into Ford Field tonight. Football is back in Detroit. The 2012 season will soon be underway. It's preseason today against the Cleveland Browns, but nevertheless, the football fans are coming out in droves to see the Detroit Lions. Everybody's pepped this year for 2012. Last year, the Lions made the playoffs at 10-6, although they lost in the first round to the New Orleans Saints. This season should just be a little bit better. We have some good picks in Riley Reef, the #1 pick. We have some new cornerbacks coming in, some new running backs, and some new wide receivers. The question at running back right now could be a question with Javid Best. Maybe his career could be over here in Detroit. LaShore, not really playing much last year due to injuries, and newly acquired Kevin Smith, who once played here in Detroit, came back last year for the end of the season. A lot of questions to be answered, a lot of players to be trimmed yet on this roster, but football season is near back in Detroit, folks. The fans are coming out for the first preseason. Should be fun tonight. We're looking forward to the 2012 Detroit Lions football season. With the 2012 Detroit Lions football season almost upon us, the Detroit Lions have been playing here at Ford Field since 2002. But the Lions, as we know them, have been in existence since 1934 as the Detroit Lions. In 1920 to 1922, they started out as the Detroit Heralds, and then in 24-25, they're the Detroit Panthers, and in the 28 and 29 of the 1900s, the Detroit Wolverines. Before 1934, they came to Detroit Lions, as we know them today with the Honolulu Blue and Silver. So the Lions have been playing at Ford Field since 2012 after the Silverdome and Tiger Stadium, but it's been a long history for Detroit Lions football, and 2012 is just another one where the fans will pack this stadium and root for their favorite team, the Detroit Lions. With the 2012 football season almost underway, every football game has a guy with the crazy hair, and the Lions have no exception right here. We have the white and blue Lions hair. And who are you?
I'm Jason Pionk, man.
And where are you from?
Detroit, Michigan.
Now, is this your normal hairstyle? Is this just something you like to wear for the game?
This is just something I picked up on the way in, having a good time, you know.
Now, do you guys come to a lot of Lions games?
Yeah, we actually, as much as we can. We're all roofers and stuff, you know, out there having a good time. You know, we come in as much as we can to enjoy the guys.
I know the Lions are coming off a playoff season. You know, they made the playoffs for the first time. Obviously, Matt Stafford being healthy last year had to attribute to that. So how do you see the Lions faring this year? We've had some problems in the offseason. Where do you see our Lions doing this year?
Man, I see us just straight up kicking some butt all season long.
Now, what did you think of the first team tonight?
Man, these guys ain't nothing. We've been kicking their butt all night.
Yeah, there you go. So preseason underway for the Lions, and a unique person here tonight, sporting the old English D tonight. No Lions jersey for you?
No. And I got my Detroit Pistons.
Okay, so you come to a Lions game, and I said, I'm just not going to come with no Lions stuff.
No.
And where are you from?
Oak Park.
And what's your name?
Carolyn.
Carolyn. So you are a Lions fan, right?
Yeah.
And you're a Tigers fan and a Pistons fan, obviously.
Yes.
And have you gone to a lot of Tiger games?
No, only been to one this year.
How about Lion games?
This is my first one.
Ever?
Yeah.
What do you think of Ford Field?
It's nice.
Is it nice? So what made you decide to come tonight? Did you get free tickets? Your friend had tickets?
My friend.
Does she have season tickets?
No, she just had a ticket for today.
Yeah, so what did you think? You guys, it's the third quarter and you guys are leaving?
We just got here.
You just got here. You know, football actually starts in the first quarter, then they have a second quarter, then halftime. A lot of people don't get here in the third quarter. How come we got here late?
I had to work.
Okay, well that's a good excuse then if you had to come to work. So are you going to stick around for the third and fourth quarter?
Yeah, we're walking around trying to find some corn dogs.
Some corn dogs, okay. Well, actually there's a good Coney Island down there. We just had some Conies down here tonight. I didn't see the corn dogs, but the Conies were good. Now, do you have a favorite Lions player?
No.
No? Do you know any Lions players?
No.
No, not Matt Stafford or Calvin Johnson?
No.
No? Any predictions for this 2012 team?
I hope they win.
All right, we hope they win from Ford Field. Where are you from and who are you?
Tammy from Warren. Tiffany from the Heights.
And they're obviously Lions fans, obviously. You guys come to a lot of Lions games, but what brings you out tonight against Cleveland?
Schwartz. Sue.
Schwartz and Sue, there you go. So, you know, last year the Lions did well. They went to the playoffs because we had a healthy Matt Stafford. The team played well. So where do we see this team this year? Do we see them making the playoffs again?
They're absolutely going to the playoffs for sure. And all the fans are going to be double time in this place. Trust me. They're going to
double timing.
Yes.
Actually, I think we actually have fans very, very well because we are in Detroit and we actually care. They actually spend money, but actually the owner of the company that owns the Lions actually needs to spend a little bit more, so actually the Lions can do it a little bit better.
Well, he spends the money. Sometimes you always can't get the quality, but you're right. The fans in Detroit love the Detroit Lions, win or lose. When we're 0-16, we're packing this place. So you guys have a special function coming up tomorrow, you said?
Yes, we have the raft off, biggest tie-off.
The biggest tie-off. It's in the Guinness Book of Records for the biggest tie-off of boats tied up together.
Muscatine Bay. You definitely need to check it out.
There you go. You got to check it out. It's going to be in the Guinness Book, and they have a curfew tonight, so they actually have to leave here in the third quarter. But from Ford Field, we have some dedicated Lion fans here.
Of course.
We found a family here leaving Ford Field. The preseason is underway for the 2012 Detroit Lions, and who are we?
Matt Comanars.
Emma. Tyler.
Lisa.
And where are we from?
Lake Orion.
Everybody from Lake Orion, I take it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So what brings us out to the preseason? Have you guys been to a lot of Lion games?
I've been to a few. He's been to a couple. This is her first.
And do we have a favorite Detroit Lion?
Sue.
Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford.
Stafford's my favorite.
Now I see you're wearing a number 11 Roy Williams jersey. Maybe ask Santa Claus this year for a newer Lion?
Yeah.
And who would that be?
Stafford.
Stafford, to match mom and dad, I take it?
Yeah.
There you go. So how do we see the Lions doing this year? You know, last year they make the playoffs. Matt Stafford's healthy all year, which is probably a big thing that attributed to that. So where do we see the Lions now? The pros are picking them like 13.
Yeah, no, I would say 9-7 to 11-5.
And we see a playoff?
Possibly. It's a tough division.
All right, anything you guys want to say?
Say go Lions!
No.
Go Lions! Woo! I'll say it for them. We're down at Ford Field. The 2012 Lions season almost underway. We're here at preseason, and who we have with us?
Jason Simonis.
And Corey Chase.
And where are you guys from?
Detroit, Michigan.
Warren, Michigan.
So you guys come to a lot of Lions games?
It's my first game.
First game, and it happened to be a preseason game.
Preseason, but still very excited.
And how about you?
This is probably my 10th game.
10th game?
Yeah.
And what do we like about the Lions so far this year? You know, they're coming off a playoff season where they made the playoffs for the first time in a while at 10-6, even though we lost to New Orleans.
I like Coach Schwartz. I think he's doing an awesome job. We looked at Williams tonight. Williams is stepping up. I'm happy with the progress.
You think last year the big reason the Lions went because of a healthy Matt Stafford?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
And do you have a favorite player?
Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson, huh? Megatron.
Megatron.
Are you a Transformers fan also?
I am.
And who's your favorite Transformer?
I love Megatron.
There you go. From Ford Field, preseason underway. Sports Talk 60, Detroit Sports Connection. Woo! The answer to the trivia question this week is 6. 6 Lion jersey numbers have been retired by the Lions. Dutch Clark, Chuck Hughes, Barry Sanders, Charlie Sanders, Doak Walker, and the great Bobby Lane. Hey, thanks for joining us today on Sports Talk 60. Remember, join us Saturday, August 25th, out at Neighborhood Alumni in Livonia, Middlebelt, just south of 7 Mile. And remember, tickets are still available for the boxing back in Detroit here, the whole new Kronk generation at the Joe on August 25th also. Tickets are starting at $20, so let's go down and support boxing here in Detroit. Hey, we'll see you next week here on Sports Talk 60.